Hi, good day, my people. I'm here with you again, your violence gist reporter. This time, the story is not too violent. I'm sure you should have heard about the Chimamanda Adichie famous letter to American President Joe Biden, and I took an exception to that letter and I decided to bring out some of the fallacious elements in the letter. There were a lot of fallacies, a lot of misconception, a lot of ignorance, a lot of lack of up-to-date information, a lot of third-party rumor hearsays in the content of that letter, and I was disappointed someone of Chimamanda Adichie's status would write based on rumor, based on hearsay, in fact, outrightly stating that she was speaking out of rumors and condemning just everything condemnable in sight, and will go gradually. So from the onset, she goes like, why is America congratulating winner of a disastrous election? I mean, does this lady know what it means to address a successful election as it just concluded 2023 presidential elections in Nigeria as disastrous? Where was she? Did she see the news when Americans were invading Capitol Hill? What could be more disastrous? An election that was peaceful, fairly free, fairly fair, over 90% nationwide, just a little one and a half here and there. You call that disastrous? I mean, from the onset, you betrayed the whole body of the letter from the first paragraph of the letter. Why is America congratulating the winner of a disastrous election? Who are you to ask why America is congratulating the winner? I mean, you should know your place. That question was really so uncalled for. She equates Nigerian election to fraud. I mean, it's so sad when you equate our elections. We're not perfect. We're developing. We're a developing nation. It's not going to happen overnight. It's gradual. We're going to get there. In fact, there's no place called there. Everybody's keep pushing, keep wanting to be better. America has not gotten there. China has not gotten there. Russia has not gotten there. The United Kingdom has not gotten there. Canada, Australia. There's always room for improvement. And these are nations that we're not at par with them. We didn't start with them. And you call our election disastrous? I mean, I take exception to that. You equate our election to fraud. Then again, you don't live in the country. Don't live in the country, so you don't understand how things work in the country. You can't be outside of the country and still dictate the tone of things in the country. You're talking of beavers, bimodal voters accreditation system used by Independent National Electoral Commission. Beavers, this was the very first outing of beavers. I mean, there's room. It should be expected that there's going to be room for improvement, room for correction, lessons learned going forward, stuff. You don't expect something to come out today, the very first inaugural model, and everything works 100% today. Having said that, it wasn't like beavers didn't work. Beavers worked, but not on the scale it was supposed to have worked. Probably the processors, the memory, probably the calibration to how it was supposed to work. I mean, it was underestimated. Nigeria is such a very big country. You can't have information from different polling units trickling into the same server at the same time. There's going to be congestion. There was a lot of congestion in the presidential election delivery because everybody were trying to access the server of INEC at the same time. So it brought room for congestion. But because Beavers was congested doesn't mean over time Beavers will not accept those results and upload them. And the Beavers worked at its pace. Because Beavers didn't receive one or two results from one or two polling units does not give you the right to adjust the whole election a failure. It just betrays you right there that your candidate lost, and you can't swallow it. You can take the loss with a pinch of salt, go back to your round table, see where you got it wrong, and re-strategize and come out with something better. It was just so terrible. He said technology would redeem Nigeria's democracy. When you say technology will redeem Nigeria's democracy. Has technology redeemed America's democracy? In America, we have mail-in ballots. We have you can vote for home. You can do this. You can do that. But the democracy is still not perfect. American democracy is still improving on a minute by minute, hourly by hourly level, day by day, week to week, month to month, year on year. America is improving steady. So for you to think technology will just come and work magic overnight and take Nigeria from the earth to the moon, shoot Nigeria from a third world country, a developing nation, straight to a first world country because we have technology. Come on, man. Let's be reasonable. Let's be rational. I'm so disgusted and I'm so disappointed at Chimamanda Adichie and everything she said in that letter. It's so rude, it's so insolent, it's so uncalled for to have written letter of such magnitude to the president of the free world, Joe Biden. I think he deserves an apology to have written such a very. You say you're talking of the true voice of the people. Who are the people? The people are not the people on social media. The people are not the true people on. The true people are not the people on Twitter. They are not. Those are not the true people. The true people are the people at the grassroots. These people don't even know of the internet. They don't even know of Twitter. They are not even represented online. These people on the internet are just the privileged few, as far as I'm concerned, that are disgruntled. The privileged few the President Muhammadu Buhari addressed as the lazy Nigerian youths. They want to be spoon-fed. The true people are the people at the grassroots, the farmers stimulating the economy, the people way in the interior where they don't have access to basics, they don't have access to internet, they don't have access to health, they don't have access to education, they don't have access to portable drinking water, they don't have access to electricity. These are the people that their voice has to be heard, not people that are so luxurious, waiting to be fed, sit all day on Twitter. Come on, things are not done that way. You talked about late arrival of materials. How many polling units did materials arrive late? If you have 100 polling units and materials arrive late in 3 or 4, those are they are the negligible figures. Materials did not arrive all the polling units in Nigeria late, and of course they expected. Little logistics problem here and there could make materials arrive late. I mean, I'm so disappointed. You talk about a Lagos spokesperson. Call the name of the Lagos spokesperson. Which APC spokesperson in Lagos disenfranchised voters? There was no spokesperson of APC that did. And if anybody did, it was the chairman of the Parks and Garages Union, and he came out and he said it in open and made a video called Mama Shukudi. And Mama Shukudi testified that Musiliu did not harass him. Musiliu did not harass anybody. Musiliu, MC Oluomo, did not harass anybody. These are facts. You can go and check. So, quoting Musiliu, Akinsoya, MC Oluomo, you are equating him to an APC spokesperson. That's a very low of you. That's so very low of you, Chimamanda and Adichie. I'm so disappointed in you, and I require you to retract a lot of these things. I mean, look at, we have Trump in America. You will be surprised Chimamanda Adichie are the ones that are inclined to the Donald Trump kind of politics. We have this kind of people in America. They are not new to us. We've been following American politics for way over 20, 30 years now. We follow American politics even if we're at home, even we're in Nigeria. It doesn't mean we're blind. It doesn't mean we don't know what's happening in America. We see people invade the very sanctity, the very sanctuary of democracy, the Capitol Hill. We see people invaded unholy, and Donald Trump is going to pay for all of this. And it's short of saying it that these are the ideologies Chimamanda Adichie subscribes to, the Donald Trump's kind of ideology, which we don't subscribe to. We're the friends to Joe Biden. You shouldn't sell us cheap. You shouldn't blackmail us to Joe Biden or to the international community or to whoever at that level. You spoke again. You said you were talking about your cousin in Lagos that was giving you information. You were not even getting right first-hand information. You said your cousin said the poor guy kept trying and kept getting an error message. If somebody keeps trying to submit It should speak common sense to you that there was congestion. You keep trying to submit a result, it suggests to you that there was congestion. And why was there congestion? There was congestion because they were trying to access from 774 local government. If my figures get me right, polling units should have been way more than 8,000. I think that is subject to confirmation. I'm not exactly sure how many polling units were trying to access the server at that same point in time. Now we look at the bandwidth, we look at the so many things you look at. The processor of their server, the speed of processing, the calibration and all of that. These are reasons why beavers will not take all information coming from diverse parts of the country on the same minute, the same time. Beavers was going, and because beavers didn't take information when we were supposed to take information, does not mean you should adjudge the whole election as a failure. Because your candidate lost an election does not mean the election was not successful. No, that's not true. You said there was no network problem. I had internet on my phone. My bank app was working. The Senate and House results were easily uploaded. So why couldn't the presidential election be uploaded? Now, the Senate and House are peculiar to a location. They are different. The presidential was just one for the whole country. But my senator is not your senator. My senator is local to me. So when results of my senator upload, it means maybe probably 500 people, 600 people were trying to access the server for that purpose. You can't equate a senatorial election to a nationwide presidential election. That tells me how daft, I'm sorry to say, I'm so sorry to say, but it tells me you're not reasoning. It tells me you're not on top of your game. It tells me you just betrayed the sentiments all over. It tells me you're not being properly calculated. It tells me you're not sound. It just tells me how daft you are. You can't equate senatorial elections to presidential nationwide election. Come on, man. Chimamanda, you're better than that. You shouldn't do that, man. You say what? On the 26th, social media became flooded with evidence. We don't take evidence to social media. We take evidence to court. Nobody does social media trials. Chimamanda, come on, wake up. You are in illusion. You're living in delusion. You're in dreamland. You're living in fantasy island. You're living in la la land. You're not in tune with reality. Come on, man. Come off your high horse. Get off your high horse. You can't say on this 26th, social media became flooded with evidence. What evidence? Anybody can sit anywhere, cook up any document, and post on social media. There's no social media responsibility in Nigeria as far as I'm concerned. There's no policing of the social media space in Nigeria as far as I'm concerned. So I can back on evidence of social media. If Chimamanda Adichie backs on evidence of social media, sorry and good luck to her. Come on. Then you go further to say votes transferred from Labour Party to APC with evidence. It was something we wanted to see. What was it she said? That votes were being transferred. Come on, this is the same Labour Party that in Anambra State, no other party got anything. This is Labour Party that won Lagos State presidential election. Labour Party won in Lagos. And Labour Party they were on course to win governorship in Lagos. Labour Party would have won presidency in Lagos, still won governorship in Lagos. But the people saw beyond the gimmicks and the antics. So what are you saying, Labour Party vote? You think Labour Party is all of Nigeria. That's where your problem starts from. Labour Party is not all of Nigeria. Nigeria is bigger than Labour Party. You equate Labour Party to everybody. You call Labour Party everybody. Come on, man. Come on, man. You guys should do better. You say few people celebrated. What indices do you use to know the people that celebrated? You said few people celebrated. Few people celebrated. Many were in shock, being uncertain and at best. Something what generation of something what? You just mumbled up so many things. It's just so sad. You can't say few people celebrated. What statistical organization? That is the problem. You people live in fantasy island. You stay on the internet, you do your polls on the internet, you draw your poll samples from the internet, you draw your sample from within yourselves, you lie to yourself, and you want the lies you have lied to yourself to materialize. This is grand delusion. You said technical elements were used for the first time. You acknowledge that technical elements were used for the first time. And if you acknowledge technical elements were used for the first time, you should also not expect that this is a technology being deployed for the first time and it should work 100% the first time it's deployed. You don't sound smart to me to tell me you want to use this for the... I got a drone. The first time I flew my drone, I didn't fly perfect. It's continual practice that makes perfect. We're using beavers for the first time, and you expect us to get beavers right the very first time of using it? Come on, man. You must be a miracle worker. You must be a magician. You must be some, I don't know. You talked about, then you started to castigate everybody. Chimamanda Adichie here castigated the U.S. Department of State for congratulating the president-elect. Does Chimamanda Adichie know better than the U.S. Department of State? Does Chimamanda Adichie know more than the American intelligence? She was even taking a jab at the American intelligence. She says American intelligence cannot be so inept. Who are you to ascribe ineptness to American intelligence? Come on, Chimamanda, you have crossed the line. American intelligence in the world is rated as one of the best intelligence. American intelligence, Israeli intelligence, German intelligence. They run the best covert operations. They have the best intelligence in the world. Chimamanda Adichie comes out to say American intelligence is inept. Chimamanda, I'm disappointed at you. I'm so disappointed at you. You call American intelligence inept? A little homework and they would know what is manifestly obvious to me and so many others. What is manifestly wrong to you? This is perspective. It's wrong to you because your candidate did not win. Chimamanda, you don't speak for me. You don't represent me. You don't represent majority of Nigeria. This letter, I insist, is so rude of you to have written a letter of this magnitude to the #1 president in the whole wide world, President Joe Biden. Where you have my respect, you have my love, I cherish you forever. But this letter, it's dead on arrival. It should not even get to the president's table. Then you go to say you accuse U.S. Department of State, American intelligence, Washington Post. You accuse INEC chairman. You accuse Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister. You talk on China. You accuse Supreme Court of Nigeria. You alone, Chimamanda, you know more than all these entities, all this legally constituted body. You an individual, you know more than the Supreme Court of Nigeria. You know more than Rishi Sunak. You know more than China. You know, and you said you hear rumor that this Chimamanda Adichie should not operate on rumor. You said congratulating its outcome, President Biden tarnishes America's self-proclaimed commitment to democracy. Please do not give the sheen of legitimacy to an illegitimate process. The United States should be what it says it is. You are nobody to call this process an illegitimate process. Chimamanda Adichie, you have overstepped your bounds. And I'm really so disappointed in you. I'm really so disappointed in you, Chimamanda Adichie. Nobody will steal this mandate. Nobody will truncate our democracy. May 29th is sacrosanct. We're going to have a successful, peaceful handover from a democratically elected government to another democratically elected government on May 29th. The people have reposed their will in Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nobody, not Chimamanda Adichie, is going to stop this inauguration. The earlier the better you people understand that presidential election 2023 in Nigeria is the freest, fairest, and most credible election I've ever witnessed all my life since I started witnessing elections in Nigeria. We will not allow anybody say anything short of that. If you live in fantasy island, you live in dreamland, you live in delusion, keep that to yourself. We are satisfied with the 2023 presidential election. We want President Joe Biden to be aware that majority of us voted for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You have our respect. God bless America. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.